All right. Hello, Hell's Heads. Welcome and thank you for checking into this dose of the Healthcare Uprising. I am your producer, Jeremy Carr, here with your host, Heather Pierce. So, what is on our agenda for today, Heather?
We are continuing our conversation on the use of natural plant medicine
Nice.
in mental health therapy.
My favorite kinds of medicine.
Yeah. So we've got Selena Markiewicz, who is the founder of Ashes to Ascension Counseling in Durango, Colorado, not California.
California.
She is a licensed professional counselor, and she is a licensed natural medicine clinical facilitator. So we're going to talk very heavily about psilocybin again.
Yeah.
We'll touch on some other things like ketamine and MDMA a little bit here and there.
Those are the forerunners in the field.
They are, but we talk very, very extensively about psilocybin again. So this has been like a theme lately.
And the clinical process of it, which is nice to get.
It is.
This is the second clinical facility that we've talked to about their process, so it's good to kind of start expanding our view on that, see how people are doing it different, and no matter how many of these episodes we do, I keep learning stuff.
Yep. And Colorado is at the forefront of this movement, and Oregon as well, but so exciting to see our neighbors.
I'm gonna have to change the name of Colorado to New Amsterdam. But anywho, without any further ado, let's get into it here with our conversation with Selena Markiewicz from Ashes to Ascension.
Hi, and welcome to the Healthcare Uprising podcast. Today we have with us Selena Markiewicz, who's the founder of Ashes to Ascension Counseling and Healing Services. She's also a licensed professional counselor and a licensed natural medicine clinical facilitator. Woo! Selena,
that's some words.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here because we're friends.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Jeremy, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, so I mentioned, yes, we're friends. So your husband and my husband went to high school together.
They did, yeah. Long
That's
time
crazy.
ago.
A long time ago, because we're old now. So
we are.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
I know, it is pretty crazy. But we've done some really cool things during that time of becoming, full of wisdom. And that's why you're here today. And we have been talking extensively on the Uprising about plant-based medicine and psychedelic-assisted therapy for mental health. And so this is such a really just perfectly aligned conversation to continue this on the show. So with that, Selena, tell us a little bit about your background, kind of how you came to get into the space of being, working in mental health, and of course with the natural medicine piece of it, which is kind of relatively new. And you're in Colorado, I should mention. So there's a lot happening in Colorado. So
it is, yeah. I'm based out of Durango, Colorado. Oh my goodness, find my words today. So actually, I came to this work through psychedelics first. I was in a really toxic and abusive first marriage, and I've had anxiety all of my life. Really struggled through childhood and teenage years, and then got into this first marriage. And by the time I ended that marriage, my anxiety was pretty debilitating. And then I met my now husband, who was very experienced with psychedelics and encouraged me to utilize the medicine in order to just change my perspective and maybe take some of the edge off. And it ended up turning my world upside down and led me down this path. It was really from that first experience that it shrank my anxiety from this like overwhelming dark cloud that followed me around constantly to kind of making it more like a mosquito. Very annoying, but something that I could manage. And then about 3 weeks after that first experience, I started looking at master's programs for clinical mental health counseling in order to qualify for the psychedelic-assisted training programs that I just felt so compelled from that experience to be able to help other people who were like me do this in a really safe and legalized environment.
Wow.
Well, off of one experience, you just dove right into the field. That's wild.
I love it.
was
You
that
wasted no time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
can be
really
that powerful.
Yeah.
It can be that powerful, and especially if it works that well for you. You know.
Yeah. Wow.
And
So you went in for your master's and
I did.
then, okay. And then what happened after that?
Yeah, 3 years master program. I did my internship, and then got pre-licensed. I've been working for a group private practice for the last 3 years. And then beginning of 2025, I joined the Integrative Psychiatry Institute, their certified psychedelic-assisted therapy training program. That's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through that 10-month program that included training in MDMA, ketamine, and psilocybin with practicums in psilocybin and ketamine. So I am trained in all of those. It was a 250-hour program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only $250 to go through that.
No, 250 hours.
Oh, hours.
Hours.
I thought you said dollars. I'm like, wait, what? That can't be right.
That can't be
250 hours. That's okay. That's
I wish it
actually
were
not
only
that bad.
$250. Believe me, it was very.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked. That's just my bad hearing.
Is that all?
250 hours isn't too bad though.
I don't know. It seems like a lot to me. And well, I'm sure it was that all through a school or program in Colorado. I'm actually kind of curious about that part because we know that a lot of this isn't even legal in many states. So
Yeah, right now the only two states that it's actually legal and live are Oregon and Colorado. But
right.
there are other states that have decriminalized and are trying to pass legislation and actually build programs very similar to what we have.
Okay.
The Integrative Psychiatry Institute, I think, is based out of Boulder. And
all right.
Okay.
the founders of IPI, Will Vanderveer and Keith Kurlander, they just wrote a book called Psychedelic Therapy, a revolutionary approach for restoring your mental health and reclaiming your life. That is a oh my gosh, I can't talk today.
I can't talk most
Right.
days.
I can't hear today. It's going to be fun.
Apparently, your education only costs $250.
Yeah, so they wrote this book, and it really encompasses everything that their program is aimed to do from this legal perspective. And if anyone wants to understand the psychedelic therapy process from the legalized perspective, I think they did a great job of summarizing everything in a very digestible way.
Okay. We might have to put that in the show notes for additional resources for our listeners.
Yeah, it's always a strange time when things start becoming legalized when they've been illegal for so long. It's like it's hard to really know exactly where the lines are. That's a very relevant book to pick up if you're going to do anything with this stuff. Provider, patient, whatever, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have Ashes to Ascension counseling. So, but you came in, you said you obviously kind of started down this path because you found relief and healing from using psychedelics, but you ultimately got into mental health counseling, right? And then the natural medicine piece is that as a separate program.
Yes.
Was that always like from day one? Did you obviously you have to have the mental, I assume you have to have that LPC, right? Licensed professional counselor. Do you have to have that before the natural medicine, or are they like reliant on one another, or can you do them separately?
Well, you can do them separately now. At the time, so this was back in like 2019.
Okay.
At the time, the only training program that I was looking at was through MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies.
I want to have them come on.
Yeah, they had the MDMA training program at that point in time. And initially, that was the medicine that I was most interested in working with. Obviously, things with the FDA haven't panned out yet, and that's still kind of on the back burner for the time being. So when I looked at the requirements for the MAPS program, you had to have either a medical or mental health qualification. And for me, going to medical school was out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
And my undergrad degree had an emphasis in psychology. Most of my training was in psychology, but I didn't end up pursuing that.
Okay.
So when I saw that I could become a mental health clinician in order to qualify for that program, that's when I started that journey. I started looking into it and I was like, well, this is something that feels more natural to me. I
Mm-hmm.
can do this. It's 3 years. I found a great master's program. And I figured this was something that I was already interested in and would enjoy doing as a solo career, even if it did not involve psychedelics down the road.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you can really do both. Somebody could come to you for just general mental health counseling, that sort of thing. They could
Absolutely.
also come to you for the plant medicine, the kind of natural, or I think you call it natural medicine. Yes.
Natural medicine. That's the Natural Medicine Act, is how Colorado has phrased it.
Mm-hmm.
The other
Okay.
piece of this was the designation between the clinical facilitator and facilitators now is that you don't have to necessarily be a medical or mental health professional in order to become a facilitator.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Colorado has two options. The non-clinical facilitator can still work in a healing center and they can still do the psilocybin sessions. They just can't offer mental health therapy before or after the package that's included with the Natural Medicine Act.
That's the integration part right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a pretty important part. But if they're working at a center, I mean, they could do the actual ceremony, and then someone else could do the post-ceremony stuff.
We have to, as a bubble for the state of Colorado, we have to do one preparation session at minimum, and we have to do one integration session. But integration doesn't necessarily mean therapy. It's really taking that experience that you have with the medicine and trying to make sense or meaning of it for yourself, and then trying to integrate that into your daily life and making changes that is going to sustain whatever you have gained from the medicine session, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's not like the same as the actual therapy session, though. You can do that separate from that.
Mental health therapy is a little more clinical, where we would dive into, potentially depression, anxiety, trauma, or any underlying life experiences or symptoms that you're experiencing. And we would look at that more from a clinical perspective.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad
we're still learning stuff. See, all these episodes about this stuff.
We are
still learn stuff every time.
I've got some people I need to connect you with, though, in Colorado. I'm already thinking.
Oh, yeah. We're getting a list now.
Yeah. We've got some good folks up there, actually, in Golden and Theogen. They just actually, Jorge Camille, the CEO and founder, came on the show not that long ago.
I listened to that episode. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the vertical stuff that he's got there.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're supposed to go up there next month, aren't we?
Yeah. And Dr. Dana Lerman from Skylight Psychedelics, who's on his board, she came on first. Anyway. Oh, I think I have a round table brewing.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I love it. Love it when that happens. All right. So psychedelics, it's like in the media, right? Like it's gaining a lot of traction. Obviously, we've got, a couple states that have made it legal. Oregon and Colorado. I think New Mexico is next.
Really?
I believe is what Jorge told us. Yep. So you're providing this kind of therapy. What are some of the things that people are like apprehensive about? They come to you and be like, "Ooh, I don't know. Like I'm kind of scared about it. Not really sure." Like misconceptions. Let's clear the air a little bit, I guess, and get your perspective on this. Yeah.
Well, I was one of those, right? I was one of those dare kids from the 80s, the say no to drugs.
Yes.
Felt like if I tried drugs, my brain would end up scrambled. Those sorts of fears are, they've been so emphasized for decades.
Yeah. The scramble is literal. Cut those old commercials with "This is your brain on drugs" when they put the egg in the frying pan.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I I was terrified of the experience. And it's only because I trusted my husband so much that I was even willing to take this step forward. So I can understand the hesitation that a lot of our society might have and reservations about psychedelics because they have been so misinformed and misrepresented in the public media. Um, I would just encourage people to do their research. I I have done so much learning and unlearning a lot of misinformation for myself over these
Yeah, that's
last
a big one.
Yeah.
right? It is a process of unlearning. So I would encourage them to ask a lot of questions, challenge their own belief systems. What information have they actually? Uh, what's the right word? What's the information that they've actually learned, and is that correct? Is that
Right.
true?
Right.
Right. Like the paradigm you've been living by, you got to start dissecting that a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, people should just listen to our podcast because we cover it a lot.
Yeah. We do.
We are unmasking psychedelics. It's funny. I'm actually thinking about my friend. She's in Peru right now,
Okay.
and she has gone down a very, very intentional and intense and deep journey with plant medicine.
Okay.
And she's currently in Peru going through some very interesting ceremonies and very traditional Peruvian, like with shamans and the whole thing. And it's mind blowing.
That's
Mind
the
blowing.
ayahuasca down there.
Ayahuasca. Yep. Some other things.
That's the only place you should really do it, is where it's from.
I mean, it is. And I mean, heck, I've heard about people doing, I don't know if it was psychedelics or not psychedelics, psilocybin or MDMA. Remember seeing it on like NBC, like not that long ago. And it was veterans that like
Yeah.
were down in like Costa Rica. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen several different videos.
There's been a
whether
few.
it's in Mexico or Costa Rica, Peru.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many places down in South America that have the cultural and traditional ways of meeting with medicine. Yeah, it's just the transformations are incredible.
So how does it feel like somebody working with you? Let's just kind of maybe walk me through what a potential kind of journey experience might look like from the first time I would engage with you to actually taking the plant medicine. What kind of supports are around that?
Sure. So the way that Colorado is set up is that initially we'd start out with a consultation. We'd meet for 15 or 20 minutes just to kind of discuss what your overall intentions are. Why do you want to do this work? And then kind of talk about what are the basic rule outs, right? We're going to talk about some health stuff and we're going to talk about some mental health things that would be potentially dangerous. And then if that conversation goes well and we determine they're a good fit for psilocybin therapy, then we would schedule a prep session, the first prep session. That's going to be more logistics. They're going to have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, liability waivers, and the actual screenings for the state of Colorado. So that goes into more detail on your medical conditions, medications that you might be taking, your mental health, making sure that you actually qualify according to state standards. Then we're going to have all of the forms that are required by the Healing Center and DORA, which is the regulatory agency through Colorado. We're going to have you set up a transportation plan so we know how you're getting to and from the Healing Center. It's all about safety. Then we'll have a second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me ask a real quick question. When you say the Healing Center,
Yes.
is that yours or is this in one that you're associated with where you're allowed to basically almost like how like a physician can work at a hospital, like certain hospital?
Exactly.
Is it the same kind of concept?
So in my case, yes, I am contracted with a healing center that's located in Durango. Some facilitators are owners and operators of their own healing center, so you can be either or. I just happen to have my office within a healing center owned by someone else.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good distinction. I just wanted to make sure I understood that. All right.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay. So the second prep session, we're going to focus more about mindset and intention, making sure that you are prepared for what the journey might be like. We can't actually predict what you're going to get. Sometimes you get a really beautiful journey, and other times you get a really challenging one, and all are welcome. It is what it is. But just making sure that you have some good coping skills on board, distress tolerance techniques, how to prepare your body for ingesting the medicine, and then not setting expectations too high or unrealistic. We just don't know what the outcome will be, and it's not a cure, right? So setting that realistic idea of what medicine is for. After those prep sessions are done, we'll schedule the actual journey day, and that's about a 6-hour time frame. You'll come to the healing center. You'll get set up in the actual room that you'll be in. They're typically set up with either a couch or a bed, very comfortable nature-based environments. We have eye shades, we have earplugs, we have headphones if you want to listen to music. We have a lot of playlists that we choose from that are curated for this specific type of experience. And the facilitator stays with you the entire time, but it's non-directive. We're not really engaging in conversation or interfering in your experience. We're allowing you to be with medicine in a safe, supervised environment, but not really interfering with the process. You'll have your journey, then you'll have someone come pick you up from the center, make sure you get home safely. And then within 72 hours, the state of Colorado requires that you do your first integration session so that everything is fresh in your mind and in your body, and that we can help you take that experience and translate it into something that you can continue working with in your everyday life.
Okay.
That's written right into the law, huh?
It is.
That's interesting.
Wow. And so what you just described is for psilocybin, right?
It is. Mm-hmm.
It sounds pretty similar to the ketamine. In episode 3, when Dr. Casey described his process with a patient, pretty similar process.
Yeah, which I was going to ask, because we know you're not able to work with MDMA yet, correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about that. Not yet. Hold on, though. Mm-hmm. But ketamine, you can also facilitate ketamine?
I am not a medical provider, so I cannot facilitate the actual ketamine medicine.
Got it.
If they have a clinic that they want you to go for ketamine treatments, I can provide the preparation for that and also the integration parts of that as a licensed professional counselor.
Okay,
but
got it.
You need to be a medical doctor to dispense.
Because it's FDA approved and it has oversight as a medicine. I mean, ketamine's been used for decades in the hospital setting.
Right.
So, that has to be provided by like a nurse practitioner or a physician.
Okay, which is what Dr. Casey is, who he's got Revitalized Clinic here, which is ketamine clinic, but he's also a doctor or whatever, some kind of.
He can give you needles of stuff.
Yes,
exactly. Well,
I'm like, I don't want to.
I kind of misspoke too about ketamine, so let me clarify.
Yeah,
with
since we're on the topic.
And IV ketamine, you have to go to a medical provider. There are lozenges.
Yes.
That can be done if you are.
My friend does that.
Yes. So technically, yes, I could administer those, but I am not personally set up for that.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So your real focus is in the psilocybin space then. Is that kind of now, where your primary focus area is?
I'm a little bit of both. I have several clients right now that come to me for the ketamine preparation and integration. That's one of those medicines that the nasal spray Spravato is actually covered by Medicaid and several insurance providers. So, and a lot of my clients are Medicaid clients. I like to be able to provide services to all populations. So my caseload is pretty split between traditional therapy, my ketamine clients, and then psilocybin clients.
Okay. Here's another question for you.
Sure.
In order for somebody to see you, do they have to be in Colorado?
For therapy, yes. Okay. If they are coming only for the natural medicine program, which again is just that prep session, the facilitation session, and an integration session, they can be from out of state.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense, because now I'm going back to that entheogen episode where I think they're pretty much anticipating that the majority of people are going to be coming from out of state.
Because you can't give the medicine in places where it's illegal.
Right, exactly. Just got to talk through these things. All right.
No, I mean, it's a thing. Like, if you're licensed for it there, can you do it there?
Right.
But yeah, the controlled substance thing isn't going to allow for that. Everyone's going to have to start decriminalizing it at least.
Yeah.
For it to be able to spread like that.
Right. Well,
they don't have to fully legalize it, but it would at least have to be decriminalized, I would think.
Right.
Because then people could have it legally.
Selena, what do you know about that? I mean, we mentioned, we know New Mexico's kind of next on the list. What are you hearing?
New Mexico is going to do a slightly different model. I think they're doing this more medically based, and you have to have certain diagnoses to qualify for treatment. Don't quote me on that. It may not be accurate, but that's at least my basic understanding of what they're starting to do. But Colorado, we don't have to have a specific diagnosis or mental health condition to qualify, and neither does Oregon.
Okay. And
that makes sense. New Mexico's always been a little more conservative than Colorado. So
yeah.
More conservative approach to it.
Colorado and Oregon, I just feel like have I would say the most liberal policies, but it's the most progressive, right? Like most open-minded, like not in a bad way.
Would be the better term for it.
Yeah, liberal makes people, cringe sometimes.
It's different things.
Yeah. I'm like, we're just forward thinking. So what does that mean from your perspective? Like, okay, New Mexico's next. I'm sure there'll be other ones that come behind it. I mean, you could potentially be getting people from out of state to come see you. I imagine I have to imagine that's got to be happening or will be happening.
I'm surprised California's not there yet.
Yeah, I am
What's
too.
What's up with California?
Right.
That's a great question.
You'd think of all the places, right? Like they'd be one of the first, but
you would. We should look into that.
Maybe it's the weed lobby.
How do you see that changing, like mental health care, though, over the course of 5 to 10 years from now? Like what this might look like. I mean, you even mentioned you have patients that are Medicaid. Is Medicaid paying for this?
Not for psilocybin. There are no insurance providers right now that cover.
I didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. However, what I would like to highlight about that is that as facilitators, we are very aware that at this moment, this is more of a privilege to have this type of treatment because of the cost associated. It's extremely expensive to go through the healing center process and get licensed and get your facilitator license and the training and the education. We have to do continuing education credits. We have to have insurance. So it's incredibly expensive, not only from our end, but then that cost gets passed on to the client. So that being said, we are very cognizant that right now the model is not set up to be inclusive. However, a lot of facilitators are emphasizing a sliding scale fee, which my healing center embraces. So we encourage clients to ask about that service and what we can do in order to help provide that service to as many people as we can who absolutely need it. The other thing that's out there is the software that we use in order to track the natural medicine. It's called Althea, and they have partnered with another group, a nonprofit, the Thank You
I love
Life.
that it's called Althea. That's one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs, just by the way.
It's there's a thing called the Forward Fund. That's a collaboration between Althea and Thank You Life, which is a nonprofit. And they are basically offering what they call sponsorships, and potential clients can apply for these sponsorships where their costs it's on a weighted scale by need, and then they will cover anywhere from a certain percentage up to potentially maybe the full amount of the facilitation cost for clients in need. So I also
what is the cost exactly? Like what are we talking about? I have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So it ranges anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 typically. for that.
Okay.
The package of the preparation sessions, the facilitation day, including the healing center fees and the medicine itself, and then the integration sessions. It sort of comes as a package.
That's going to be a big number for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying that's a big number for a lot of people. Coming up with $2,000 for something like that is going to be a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot.
Okay.
And my starting fee is $2,100. But again, I do have a sliding scale option, and I would love to talk to any potential client about what we can do in order to help make this more accessible.
Yeah.
But that's something, I mean, that could very well come down significantly as time goes on, right? As there's more providers, more clinics, and things become more streamlined in the process and everything.
We would hope so. Yeah.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah. Or
not that the price of anything goes down these days. But.
Right. I think it actually where the answer is there's more creative solutions to help people get this kind of care.
Yes.
Right.
Without it being a financial drain on them or literally just being an obstacle to getting it. Like there shouldn't, I mean, like healthcare in general in this country, like we shouldn't have to worry about, not getting the appropriate care because it costs too much.
Exactly.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've said before, I personally think we should put psilocybin in the drinking water, but
I'm with you.
Like fluoride, man, just microdose, little traces of it in the water with the fluoride.
Oh boy.
I think it would be good for us. But that's my personal opinion.
Well, if it's good for us, then the government probably doesn't want us to have it.
You get more people drinking a lot more water.
Right.
It would solve the hydration problem, if nothing else.
Yeah, there's a good campaign right there just to get people to hydrate more. So I'm just thinking about this too, and I think it's important for us to talk a little bit more about kind of the experience of we covered it. We've covered it in I think a lot of the shows, but for someone who's listening to this for the first time, we've talked kind of about the logistics. What does it cost? What does it feel like? Where can you get this? All the, the legalities, but somebody who might be considering, trying this out for the first time, can you maybe share, I mean, everyone's journey is different. We know that, right? And thank you for walking me through the process of the prep session, and then you have the 6-hour session and all that. But can you talk a little bit about what kind of, I don't know, it's like, I don't even know what my actual question is. It's more, I am maybe I'm on psilocybin right now.
Catching a vibe here, man. Catching a vibe.
I might be. What does it feel like? You might be on a couch or a bed or wherever, but 6 hours, can you maybe kind of explain a little bit about that?
Oh gosh. Every person who I've talked to who has experienced psilocybin, there are some similarities, but they're all so unique, right?
Right.
So I can speak to my own experience more than I want to generalize, what it might feel for someone else.
Right. I know. I'm sorry. I'm asking you an impossible question.
That's okay. That's okay.
An important one, though, for people who haven't been in the space before.
Yeah, because it can be very scary, right? It can be very intimidating, right?
Overwhelming would be the word, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Even after multiple experiences, I still find a little bit of that anticipation and nervousness around the medicine. So, I have a lot of reverence for it, and I take it seriously, and it's a special thing to me. So for my first psilocybin journey, it was a pretty high dose, about 3 grams by weight. This was in Oregon. It was by potency there. So it was 24 milligrams. And some people describe their experience as more physical. Some people describe it as more mental or visual. I got a little bit of everything. I'm particularly visual. I've noticed that even, in my ketamine sessions, I'm a visual person. So it was quite ridiculous in the way that my intention for that big first journey was to let go of fear. I just wanted to embrace the present and not be worried and have that anxiety kind of lingering around. So as soon as the medicine really started to hit, it was almost like a movie screen in my head, and everything went dark for a moment. And then, have you ever you've seen the Mr. Peanut character for the cans of peanut, right? Okay, you know what he looks like, a little peanut with a top hat and cane. Well, instead of Mr. Peanut, I got Mr. Mushroom. A little blue mushroom, top hat and cane came out onto the screen and said, "So, you want to let go of fear? We're going to light this shit on fire." And it just, from that moment, it was kind of a kaleidoscope of like Meow Wolf and Burning Man and Electric Forest and Alice in Wonderland, like all got together and decided to have a party in my head for like 5
3
hours.
grams is a good dose. It's a good dose.
No, it's a good dose. Yes. So initially it started out as very like the psychedelic typical colors and kaleidoscopes of things that you would imagine. And later it became more subtle, where I was like, well, I'm originally from Arizona, Heather. So I was flying over the Arizona desert, and it was like evening scene, and I just had this appreciation for the desert that I didn't have so much as a kid, because I didn't like being in Phoenix very much growing up. There were emotions that I felt really connected to. It was just the most ridiculous, wild, beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And I had a hard time containing laughter. All I wanted to do the entire time was laugh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a very common symptom on psilocybin. It turns on your laughing switch, man. It's so easy to just laugh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And after several hours, you just sort of return to a really grounded and centered place. I felt peaceful and relaxed. And of course, I was surrounded by other experienced facilitators, and it was a beautiful group experience as well. So it was just something really incredible, and I hold it very sacred. It was one of the best things that I've ever experienced.
Obviously, it sent you down this path. So, yeah,
life-changing. Is that kind of a standard dose for people who go in to one of these clinics, or to your clinic? I don't want to make you speak for anybody else. Or is it really, I've asked other people this question, but I kind of want to get more opinions on this. Is 3 grams like, that's the level that a clinical dose is going to be, so that you can get into deep enough into your own head, so to speak, that you can actually dig out the problems you're looking for? Yeah. Or is it going to be way more variable than that? Like, and you said, like, do you give people a small dose first and then see how that goes, and then maybe do a bigger one after? Or is it just the one time?
Well, it's really going to be client specific. So typically most centers are recommending between 2 and 4 grams for their initial experience.
Okay.
They can do a low dose, but if you're coming for this kind of experience and you're paying this much money, I personally would not recommend a low dose. Sometimes that can be really hard to, what I call, drop in to the medicine. It then becomes kind of an ego battle if you're not far enough in, and then it just can be more of a frustrating experience than if you're all in with the normal, like a heroic dose is kind of what they call it. But yeah, I mean, typically you're going to be looking at 2 to 4 grams, but again, you're going to have that conversation with your facilitator and determine what's going to be the best possible dose for each client.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
That makes sense as a range, though. Yeah, because 2 grams is where you really start going through the door. Instead of just looking through it, you actually go through it.
Can somebody increase past that 4 gram mark as they become more, maybe if they're coming back and doing it more regularly? I'm thinking of like Dr. Tiffany Ryan, who's been doing it multiple times. Sure. My friend, who I cannot name, who's in Peru, she's done a lot of different things. Like it's almost like where you start to build a tolerance, right? Like where you can take on more. Does that happen?
I don't know if
Yeah.
you really build a tolerance. I think you just kind of get used to it.
Or yeah,
I
like
think I don't know that there's a real tolerance with mushrooms, but
okay,
certainly if you're more experienced, then we could have that conversation about what would be the most appropriate dose
okay.
in order to achieve, the goal and the intention of what you're trying to do.
I have some friends who have eaten a ridiculous amount of mushrooms.
Yeah. Not in a clinical
Not
environment,
in a
Jeremy.
clinic. This is I'm going back to the 90s.
I was like, this
for
must
that
have been the
stuff, but
90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s, people would just grab handfuls and start eating.
Right.
So
Well,
like
and
that's different level stuff.
Yeah.
That's
different
something
level
too
stuff.
about the regulated model is that, the cultivators are sending the mushrooms to a testing facility. And so that we're getting accurate potency. Each strain has a different potency level.
That's
So we're going to,
fantastic,
like, you
actually.
may have, 2 grams of one strain and the potency is equal to that of a different strain at 4 grams.
Right.
Right. So
I would love to see a day where they have psilocybin dispensaries like they have THC dispensaries now, so you could get very specific things that you're looking for, not be guessing.
Maybe one day. You never know. I mean,
we're on the way. That's what they're doing in Colorado now. That's what they're doing in Oregon now. You can actually know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, for the legal natural medicine healing centers.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, and I hope that trickles down. I would love to see that become more available for healing.
and I mean, it's still new, but a new, we'll call it just a new method, right, of supporting mental health. But do you know people that are doing it repetitively? Again, I'm thinking about Dr. Ryan, of course, who has been doing it multiple times. My friend who I mentioned.
Your friend in Peru right now.
Do you see people coming back for it repeatedly? And is there kind of a recommendation from a clinical perspective on how you should space that out? Or
Yeah, good question. With the Colorado model, it's so new that the healing centers have just been able to open their doors in the last year. So we don't have a whole lot of data yet on how often people are coming back. When we're talking about the underground, people have been doing this for centuries, and really, it's a calling to the medicine. If you feel drawn to doing it again, that's certainly something that you should listen to from your, a personal perspective. But clinically, I don't know that we can really say what the right thing to do is or how often to do it. It's going to be based on your personal experience and then what you feel like you need to do from there on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that you can go through a program now like what you've done, right? Like that's legitimizing this, right? Like there's all these, the wellness centers even being in existence. Hey, all uprisings start somewhere. Yeah. Sometimes it's behind a microphone.
Sometimes.
No, I think it's great. I mean, so when you think about it kind of long term, and you're kind of in here on the ground floor. I mean, you're kind of part of the beginnings of this, which is really cool, right? Because at one point you're going to be able to look back and be like, wow, I was there when this all kind of started before, where it got big. So you have some influence. I would imagine you're going to be a part of a group or, a cohort of therapists that will be very influential in kind of how things move forward. What would you like in terms of, the insurance or legislation and policy? Heck, not that this isn't a legislative, well, we have a Your Vote, Your Health series, but we're not talking about that. Like, what would you tell those people? Like, hey, you need to think about this. Are there people at that levels that you're engaging with, or that people in this kind of group of, innovators here that you're trying to influence policy at this point? Like, are we there yet?
I would love to see more policy change. I think, the people over at MAPS and so many other agencies and groups have been doing this work for decades, and they've been instrumental in getting Oregon and Colorado passed, and building the structure that we have and helping the training programs. They have helped create this whole opportunity for someone like me to come in and be able to do this in a legal space. So it all goes back to legacy healers. Without everyone that's been doing this work for so long, I wouldn't even be able to have this opportunity. I just hope I can be one of those voices that continues the fight, and hopefully we will see more change coming in the future.
Yeah, people have been using this stuff literally since there's been humans, as far as we can tell.
Right.
And what this is we're trying to reincorporate this back into our society that has gotten so far away from it that we forgot about it. Yeah. We have to remember what we used to know about it, is what it's coming down to now.
Our ancestors and our,
yeah,
I mean, the beginnings of humankind.
I mean, even like ancient Greece, some of their churches were all about psychedelic ceremonies. The Oracle of Delphi, man, look it up.
Jeremy knows the most random things.
They tried to illegalize it at one point.
It's amazing.
And like the citizenry was up in arms, like, you can't take this away from us. This is what makes life livable, is this stuff. Like it was a big deal. And it's very much like things that happen today when, you know, they illegalize these things that people have been doing for forever, and all of a sudden you can't do it anymore. This is medicine. Like it's not what Western medicine would classify as a medicine, maybe so much, but it is medicine, and people have been using it literally forever.
Yeah. Wow. That's so true. Selena, with the few minutes that we have left with you, I want to just maybe leave with a more, I don't know, because I'm kind of open-mindedness, kind of forward-thinking ideas. What is your hope for where this goes? I mean, we kind of tapped into that just now, a little bit around, you know, changing policy, but I mean, if you thought about it, you know, 5 years from now, like ideal state, what would things look like? How would people be reacting to this, or going after using it for their own benefit?
Yeah, great question. I would like it just to be more integrated and normalized as one of the many healing options that we have. It's not for everyone. It's not a cure. It is just another option, and that we should be able to have safe legal access that's affordable and available to anyone who feels like this is the right thing for them. So I'd like to see that continue and grow and just be more accepted.
Yeah, and like the other medicines we were talking about, the MDMA, the ketamine, they're very different than psilocybin. Your experience is going to be very different, but they can all be used toward the same end. And it is, and there you go, patient by patient, like which one's going to work best for you, and like what kind of problems are we really looking to solve. And but just right, the more we have access, the more we can actually utilize these things properly, instead of them just being considered, you know, oh, well, dirty street people do that drug. You know, like ketamine had such a bad reputation, man.
Oh, yeah.
Still
Even
does.
I thought it was dirty until we started this podcast. And then I start learning about the medicine side of it. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a miracle drug. What is going, why don't people know that? Like, people need to know that. You know what I mean? Like, all people know, like Lee, who came on our first patient from the ketamine side. She was like that when people first started suggesting ketamine to her. She's like, I'm not doing ketamine. Are you kidding me? I don't do drugs.
I'm a mom. I'm like, I do hair.
Yeah, like she, but then she did it, and she's like, oh my God, this saved my life.
Yeah.
So that's what we really need. And that's really what this podcast is about, is education and awareness. We need to tell people that this is a thing and that this can actually work for you. And it is okay, because now there's places that you can totally go do it legally, and you can find out that it's okay.
Excuse me.
You can do it safely. That's the biggest thing, is that, you know, we want people to be safe doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Well,
take all the stigma off of it and let people know what it's really all about.
Which is what we're doing and what you're doing. Well, I'm excited. The more we talk about this, the more, I don't know, the more confident I am that it will become a bigger and more widespread tool. However, at the same time, because of the ceremonial aspect of it, right? Like this is plant medicine. This is not a pill to be, kind of.
It's not manufactured, it's grown.
I worry, my only concern, just like anything, and I would even say this for ketamine, right? Like, because ketamine's kind of on this growth trajectory right now, even from just over a year ago when
pretty quick.
First started talking about it. I've seen so much happen. I worry about it being, I don't even know what the word, like taken advantage of and kind of, you know what I mean? Like kind of blown up into this thing that then becomes over-regulated and over-managed, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we do here in this country.
We take all the ceremony out of it.
Yeah, like we need to keep it sacred. And like that reverence that you talked about, like to continue that this isn't a get quick fix thing, or did I say that right? Get quick fix?
Sure, close enough.
Fixed quick sort of thing, and that we do need to honor the cultural significance of it, right? And like where that's come from. That's my only concern. I'm sure it is for you too, I imagine, being a facilitator.
It is. And it's going to be an ongoing effort for balance to honor the legacy and the indigenous people and communities that are still doing their traditional work with the medicine, and then finding balance with our Western medicine to offer this legal route for people who want to do it in this particular way. There are a lot of different approaches to the medicine, and there's no right or wrong.
Okay. Well, there you go. Let's keep our kind of, our minds open, literally. And just honor where it's come from. I think it's important. So with that, Selena, will you share with us where folks can find you online?
Actually, can I ask one more question before
so sorry, Jeremy.
This is a question we haven't asked anyone in a while. Where did you come up with the name Ashes to Ascension?
Good question.
I'm wondering what the reference is in what you do, because honestly, it almost sounds like a religious thing where it's like you die and get reborn.
Yeah. Well, the traditional phoenix is about rebirth.
There you go.
So I'm all about symbolism, and it's a little bit of a play on words, right? I'm from Phoenix. The Phoenix symbol to me is meaningful in that way. And then I have also been through this big transformation where I struggled so much with this anxiety and depression and healing that I needed, and medicine helped provide that pathway. It certainly wasn't a cure, but it definitely catapulted me forward in a way that I can't, it's hard to put into words how much that profoundly impacted my trajectory in life and my healing. So, the Phoenix is the ascension part and the growth. So yeah, that was sort of the double meaning of that.
Love it. I'm glad I asked. Sorry, Heather, go ahead.
That's a great no. And so with that, where can we find you online to learn more about your services or contact you and maybe get in touch?
Yeah. My website is ashes2ascension.com. It's that easy. Okay. All the information.
Are you on social media?
Good looking website. We're looking at it right now.
Are you on any socials?
I have a business Facebook page, but I don't really utilize it as well as I should. So I really would just prefer people reach out through my website.
Perfect.
We got to start going back to that early internet model where we all have our own website.
Yeah.
Get off the social platforms. Just have our own website.
I know, right?
So I agree with what you're doing in more ways than one.
Well, there you go. Go check her out online. Get in touch.
Thanks for joining us on the Healthcare Uprising. Make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go, and take a moment to think of a friend and hit that share button. You can find us on all the major audio platforms, and we've got video on YouTube if you want to watch us in action.
You can also find us on social media on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. Just search Healthcare Uprising to find us. And if you're a new company with a cool new product, If you're someone innovating alternative methods for the health and wellness space, or if you have a personal healthcare journey you'd like to share with us here at The Uprising, please email us at healthcareuprising@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you about coming on the show. Well, that's all for this dose of Healthcare Uprising. Until the next time, keep looking for the good in the world, because sometimes it's where you least expect it.
We are not doctors and we don't play one on TV. If you need medical advice, consult with your physician or a healthcare professional. This has been a Shut Up production.